wish you'd understand. I just wish that God had a better plan. I'm so confused. I need a redo. Inside of me that's begging and begging and pleading. I just wanna feel free. I just wanna feel lovely. I'm surrounded by love that's in pain. Can I wipe your tears away? Please don't hurt for me. I hate that it's for me. It's for me.
Thank you to the beautiful Amber K for that intro into the MS Michigan Man 64 podcast. My name is Brian. I am the MS Michigan Man 64. I've had MS for the last 28 years. I talk about my journey as well as the journey of other chronic disease warriors all over the world, just to try to help people understand what it's like going through that diagnosis, the mental health part of it, the career part of it, the family part of it. Today, I am bringing on a old guest that I had on my original channel. I recorded with Adam in episode 43. Adam is a badass. He's from the state of Michigan, and he got diagnosed with his MS at the age of 37 back in 2019. He was working for UPS. He was a supervisor, and life was going great. And then when he got diagnosed with his MS, his life totally changed. He got diagnosed with primary progressive. It put him in a wheelchair. 2 years into his diagnosis, Adam, he fought and he got himself out of the wheelchair. And we talked about that in episode 43, but I wanted to bring him back on just to hear what's been going on with him since then, because this guy's all over the place. I mean, he's just trying to spread awareness about what it's like living with this disease. So please welcome back to the podcast, Adam. How you doing, Adam?
Good, Brian. Thanks for having me back on again. It's nice to catch up.
Absolutely, my friend. I know we talk a lot on TikTok, but, for me and you to put a recording together, I'm all for it, Adam, because I love everything that you're about. And I know you've been doing some amazing things just since the last time we recorded, and I wanted to catch up on all of that.
Yeah, it's been a while. What's it been, a year or so probably that we did it?
Yeah, it's been about a year. And I know since then that we actually had a chance to meet. I went up to one of your fundraisers that you had up in Flint, Michigan in the spring, and we actually got to meet each other and took a couple of pictures, and that was just an awesome time. And I know you got a lot of other stuff that's coming up this year, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that, but just kind of take us through what's been going on with you with your MS and how things have been going with you, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was great. You came up. That motorcycle run is like my main fundraiser that I do. And it was the third one I did. And it was awesome that you came up for it. We had other people from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram that all came out to the event. And that's my main goal of doing it, is just bringing everybody together in one spot and actually being able to hang out and talk. And it was great to meet you and your wife. And I know Kathy loved it because you got to have your rings on and all that stuff. So that was super cool.
Yeah,
that we were able to do that. So I did that for the walk. That was my big fundraiser for the MS walk that I do every year. And so I did that walk in May, a couple weeks afterwards. And then during the summer, I got back on my bike again. That was like a big thing for me, was, being able to ride a real bike again, not electronic, not electric, not a trike. Like, I can actually ride a real pedal bike, which amazed me that I could do it. And so since I can do it, I try to do as much as I can. So that's how I spend most of my summer is, I try to get out there 5 days a week riding that bike.
Yeah.
As much as I could.
And it's hard too, Adam, because I know where you were. I know that after your diagnosis, you were in a wheelchair, and primary progressive. That's one of the worst kind of MS that you can get. And I know that when you told me your original story and how that thing just shut you down, it took your career away and everything. And just to listen to you now and how positive you are, and you're actually up and out of the wheelchair and you're riding a bike. I mean, I just think it's freaking unbelievable on you've been able to accomplish in such a short period of time.
Yeah, I mean, I put my nose to the grindstone, and it's taken 5 years. It's been 5 years since I decided to, get out of the wheelchair, and it's a never ending process for me. Like, it's constant. Like, I constantly have to keep myself moving, have to keep myself strong, have to stay mentally strong. First off, like, that's the main thing, is I got to stay mentally on top of my game, because how MS is.
Mm-hmm.
I have bad days, and if you get down on yourself and you don't want to do anything because you hurt so bad, or this or that or the other thing, but I just keep going and keep moving, and that's the most important thing, is just keep doing something.
Yeah.
While you can.
And yeah,
because like you said, I had that taken away from me, and I had to get it back. And so now that I have it back, I don't ever want to lose it again.
Absolutely. And you said something really important. Just you stay on top of the mental part of it. Because I say this all the time when I'm recording with people, when I'm talking to people on TikTok. The physical part sucks. I mean, it could take your vision, it could take your voice, it could take the use of an arm, a leg, or whatever. I mean, that part sucks. The pain part of it sucks, but the mental part is the hardest part. So staying on top of that is just so important.
Yeah. And what I say, physical is so important, because, if you're trying to walk again, you're trying to get up out of a chair, whatever you can do. If you don't have the mental part of it, you're not going to be able to do the physical part.
Exactly.
So you have to have both of them. They have to be combined together and able to get to where you want to go.
Right. So, I mean, explain a little bit, for the people that didn't hear your first episode, like how, like the mental part of it, how did you keep on like fighting every day? When you were in that wheelchair and you were reliant on it, and now you're not. I mean, what was your motivation to keep on fighting every day?
Well, the first year of my diagnosis was rough. I know we touched on it on the last one, but
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about MS. I didn't know anybody that had MS. I barely even knew what MS stood for. And I had it, and it smacked me in the face and took my life away from me in an instant.
Yeah.
So that first year was me just trying to wrap my head around it and try to figure out what this was doing to my body, what it was doing to my mind, what it was doing to my life. And that took a whole year to do it.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit too at the same time. So that didn't help.
Right.
But COVID was the time that I was forced to sit with myself and look at myself in the mirror and be like, all right, what is this going to be? Is this who you're going to be, or are you going to do something about it and be something different?
Right.
And the light bulb clicked then, and I decided 100% I'm doing something about it. And what got me through it is honestly me being stubborn, just stubborn as all hell. Like, I decide something, and that is what's going to happen. And I don't let anybody else dictate how I do things, what I do, any of that. And that's how I kind of put this thing on this disease, that this disease was trying to tell me how to live my life, what I could or couldn't do. And so I just went into full stubborn mode and said no.
Right.
And then that was what drove me. That's what got me into being like, all right, I'm learning how to walk again. I'm going to get out of this wheelchair. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to be able to walk and drive again too. I can drive either, all that stuff. I'm driven by stubbornness.
Yeah. And I think that's really important. It's stubborn, and you got to have an attitude. I kind of had the same thing, and I talk about that too. With other people when I'm recording is, it went at a young age. I'm 27 when I got diagnosed, and it's an attitude. I mean, you know that you're going to have 20, 30, 40 years left of your life, whatever age you're diagnosed, and you can either sit there and sulk about it and pity yourself and feel sorry for yourself and go through the rest of your life like that, or you can just say, fuck that. I don't want to live like that, and try to get better every day. These just
Yep.
little, minute fractions of getting better, just little wins.
That
And you got to celebrate those little wins.
That's exactly what it was for me. It's those small victories, those really small victories over years, they add up to something huge. I'm a perfect example of that. When I first started, I was using, if I could get out of the wheelchair, which I could a little bit, but I was fully on a walker, all hunched over. I had knee braces, ACL braces on both my legs. I had AFOs on both my legs. And I would just be hunched over in that walker and I would just throw my foot in front of me and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Hope it came down correctly. And then I would do it again with the other foot. And then I would do it again. And a lot of the times it didn't go well. Like I didn't go step where I wanted to. I would roll my ankle, I would fall down, I would do that. But I kept getting up and I kept being able to do it. And eventually we got rid of the AFOs because my neurotherapist is incredible. Like I can't say enough good things about my neurophysical therapist. Like she's like, we got to get you out of those AFOs because I want to teach you how to use your ankle again. Like you need to learn how to do that if you're going to go back to walk.
Yeah.
So we did. And then I decided I didn't want to wear my knee braces anymore. I was out on one of my first road trips and I said, you know what? I don't want to wear these anymore because I want my knees to learn how to work on their own. And I made the decision on my own, but I texted her and said, hey, I don't want to wear these anymore. And she basically just said, be careful. And it's your body. Do what you want. She's like, I love that you want to do it on your own. And then that was it. I've never worn either of those braces again.
Yeah. I love that, Adam, and that's the attitude, you got to want it. And it might not happen. It might not work, but you got to try.
Right.
If you
try.
If you don't try, you're never going to know. You just got to give it everything that you have and know that at the end of the day that you gave it everything that you had.
Yeah. That's like the whole bike thing. So I was talking about riding a bike a lot this summer. I never thought I would be able to ride a regular pedal bike ever again.
Right.
Because my balance is so bad. My legs don't respond how I want them to. And I don't know if I told you the story, but of what I did. I was at the gym. I had a bad day. I got home. I didn't even have a bike at the time, but my dad had a bike and I just had a terrible day. And I just got it in my head that I'm going to go get on this bike and I'm going to see if I can ride it. I'll probably fall down. Who knows what's going to happen? So I didn't even tell my parents what I was doing. I just walked outside. I hopped on that bike. I rode down to the end of my cul-de-sac and then I rode back. And when I got back towards my driveway, my parents were out at the end of the driveway and the looks on their faces, they were just amazed. In the fact that I was riding a bike and in that moment right there, when I saw their faces, that's when it dawned on me when I was like, holy shit, I'm riding a bike.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be able to ride a bike ever again. And I think I made it one lap, which is, less than a mile, but I did it.
But you did it. Yeah.
And I went out the next week and I bought myself my own bike. I got myself some super aggressive pedals because I need to have, put my foot on the pedal exactly where I need to be and it can't move. So I thought about all this stuff and got myself set up how I want to. And every summer I ride that bike as much as I possibly can now.
I know.
And I had a huge milestone this last October. My neighbor, one of my best friends, she's like my second mom. She always rides with me. She gave me a challenge and she said, let's do a 10 for 10, which I was like, what's that? And she's like, to ride 10 miles in the month of October in one time. And I was like, all right, well, I got a long ways to go because the longest I've ridden is 5 miles, but I did it. I rode 10 miles. I rode 10.18 miles in one time. And I never thought I'd ever be able to do that. And I did.
I know.
And I just keep trying and keep going.
That is just amazing. I know I watched a lot of that. You would put videos out on your social media.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there going, man, that is just so badass. Knowing where this guy was in 2019 and where he's at now in 2025, last year. And I was just like, man, that is just badass. That just shows you right there that, fuck MS. It doesn't matter what your diagnosis is. You got to keep on trying, and good things can happen. You just can't give up.
Yeah. Yeah. And like this past year, since I saw you at the motorcycle run, like the biking stuff did good. I had the MS Society came out to my house and did like a full spread on me. Like the National MS Society was here for like 4 hours. So we did interviews, pictures, photos, everything. We did video. I took them to my MS high intensity workout class that I do multiple times a year and had them see what we do, and they got to film there and talk to people there. And I'm still waiting for all that to come out, but it was awesome that they did it.
Yeah.
To be able to be recognized by the MS Society as somebody who just defies everything that they're told they should be.
And I know that you were telling me about that, and you're actually going to be a feature for the MS Society for the year of 2026. They're going to actually profile you and talk a little bit about that, Adam, because I think that's badass, man. I can't wait to see what they're going to do.
I can't wait to see how that turned out. Like they sent me the pictures, like they sent me the pictures that they took, and the pictures are incredible. But I just can't wait to see all of it, what they put together. But what it is it's basically their media, like marketing campaign. So it's going to be for the whole National MS Society across the country. And I've been looking it up, and on their main webpage, the top 6 people on their webpage were like the old ones, the ones that they're cycling out. And I'm like, holy shit, like that's going to be me now. Like I'm going to be up there. That's going to be me as like this big advocate or whatever you want to call it for MS. And I love it. I think it's amazing.
How did you
to be able to help get my story out there?
Talk a little bit about how you got picked for that, Adam. Cause I just think, I think that's awesome. Just the story in itself.
I think what it was is all the work that I've been doing with the MS Walk that I do in Milford every year, and I've gotten close with the girls, the ladies that run that in Michigan, and I think that just spread. And I was their speaker, their main speaker one year. I got to tell my story and kick off the walk, and I raised a bunch of money for them. And I think that's how it came about, because they contacted me just all of a sudden out of nowhere. I got an email that said, hey, we want you to be this and that. And I had to do an interview with them to see if I was going to be, picked to be one of these people. And they picked me, and they're like, we'll be at your house on this day for 4 hours to film. And I'm like, all right, well, here we go. Man, so it was like a whirlwind.
Yeah.
It came on quick.
That's just awesome. And you're actually, they got you going and traveling around, and you're going to be doing speaking gigs and everything else. And I just think it's awesome what you're about and what you're doing, Adam.
Yeah. And like another huge thing this year it was in August. I went to a Modified by MS conference, and it's the second one they put on. They have, nobody listens to them or follows them, Modified by MS, they do amazing things. They're a nonprofit organization. It's run by Matthew Price and basically his family. Like his family is the ones that put it together. His wife, his daughters, his brother and sister. Like it's a whole family thing, this nonprofit. And they put on these conferences every year. And I went to the first one last year in Nashville, and it was really cool to, meet all those people again when you can actually be in the same place as someone you've talked to online, because they do like weekly Zoom calls, and it feels so much nicer to actually be able in person. They did one in Branson, Missouri this last year, and I actually spoke at it, me and Kent in June. We had a panel. We talked about how we've all gotten out of a wheelchair and whatever we've done to do it. Mine's the physical. Kent's was more of the diet. June's was a little bit of both. So we had so it was really cool to be able to speak at that.
The
biggest thing about that conference.
Here's something important that I just got out of what you just said. You had multiple people talking on how they're attacking this disease, and every one of them was different. Some of them are doing it with diet, some of them are doing it with exercise, some of them are doing it with their medications. But it's different, and it's a different path. And I love that you said that, Adam, because that's important. There's no one path on how to attack this
Right.
disease. And just to talk to other people and hear their stories, I think is a huge part of the journey.
It is. And even with being on the panel, like Kent he's more of the diet part, but it's different, but it's the same because he does that, but he also does a lot of the physical stuff. I do a lot of physical stuff. I don't follow a diet, but I stay away from things. I stay away from anti-inflammatory foods.
Right.
Inflammatory foods. I don't eat a lot of sugar. I don't drink alcohol anymore. I don't drink pop. I don't drink caffeine. Like
Right.
it's all the same, but it's just like what you focus on first.
What works for you?
Different.
What works for you? Because everybody's affected differently. I mean, some people can do things and other people's can't because it affects their body different. It's a learning process.
Yeah. And I personally can't follow a diet. Like there's no way because I'm not taking away things that you'd be like, oh, I'm only going to eat plants for the rest of my life. Like, no, I don't want to do that. I mean, yes, it's my choice. I just don't want to.
Right.
But I feel like everything in moderation. Like I said, I barely eat sweets. I don't have much of anything. I don't eat a lot of dairy. I don't eat a lot of bread. I try to eat clean, but I also, if I want to eat pizza, I'm going to go eat pizza because I'm not going to gorge myself on it, but everything in moderation. And that's how I've been doing it for years. And it seems to be working for me.
Yeah. Amen, man. That's pretty much the way that I've attacked my disease. I mean, I drink, but I don't drink like I used to, because it affects me differently now. And there's some foods that I used to love that I can't eat anymore because now they affect my body different. It's just a learning process through life, with this disease. You got to figure out what your triggers are and stay away from them. The things that are good for you, keep on doing them more and more. The good things you want to stay with it, and the bad things you want to get rid of it.
Correct. So like back to the conference, it was awesome to speak at it and get the insight from different people that have done what I have in different ways. But the biggest thing about that conference was Cyanic was there. So Cyanic is a company that makes neural sleeves. And it's a relatively new company. These things have been on my radar since they came out, like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember reaching out to the company early on and telling them and seeing, what the price is, what this is, if they could send me 2 of them. Because I told them I need 2 sleeves because my one leg is bad, my other leg is worse. So it doesn't make sense for me only to use one. And at the time, they're like, oh, we can't do 2 sleeves. We can only do one. And I said, oh, okay. So I just put them on the back burner and kind of watched to see what they were doing. And they just happened to be at this conference. And I got to put both sleeves on. And it changed how I walked immediately. The very first time I put those sleeves on, I was walking almost normally. And it was one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen. And one of my buddies videoed it. I felt like I was walking better because it felt easier. I wasn't getting as tired. I wasn't having to swing my hips as much. And it felt good. But until I saw the video and my immediate reaction was, holy shit. Like it changed my posture. It got me more upright. Like I look like I was walking almost normally again. And we're talking without a stick. Like I wasn't walking with any canes, any walking sticks.
Adam,
I was just walking.
I watched that video, Adam, when you posted it up on your social media. And I remember the night that I was sitting there watching that video, my jaw just dropped and I'm like, holy shit. And I watched it over and over again. And I showed my wife and I'm like, look, because my wife knows you. And I'm like, look at Adam's wearing this sleeve. Look at Adam. Watch him walk. And my wife is just like, oh my God, I can't believe that. And I know that we've talked a lot about that sleeve since you wore it, and I'm blown away by it. I think it's amazing product that I can't wait to try. I mean, I'm gonna hook up with you. I know you got an extra one, and you offer. To meet with people so that they can see if it works. And I'm signing up for that. I want to just see if it works for me because just to see you use that sleeve and what it's done for you, I'm blown away by that thing.
Yeah. Honestly, it changed the way I walk. It changed my life because I can do things now. I can walk into stores and I don't need to carry my sticks anymore. Like I'm actually just walking. I don't have to have a device anymore. One of the biggest things, the second day I had it, once I got back home from my trip, the second day I had it, I walked from my house to my neighbor's house, Ellie, the lady that rides with me. It's only 3 houses away, but I
So
walked there and back without my stick. And that's something I have
that is
never
amazing.
done. I've never done that before.
That is amazing, Adam. I mean, for me,
Yeah.
if I were to put that sleeve on and walk one house down from where I live,
Yeah.
I would be blown away because I can't do it. And just to know that thing's having that kind of a positive effect on you. I got a question for you about this sleeves because just out of curiosity. So is it like a stimulation, like you're feeling an electronic current underneath the sleeve?
Yeah, you feel a pulse, you feel the electricity. It's on all 4 of your major muscle groups in your leg. So it's got 6 pads on your thigh, 6 on your hamstring, six on your shin, and 6 on your calf. And you can dial it in to however much you want, however much electricity you want to do it. You don't want it to hurt, you just want it to fire the muscle.
Yeah.
But it actually fires it in the sequence of your gait. So it knows where your legs are and fires it while you're walking, how it should be fired. So the biggest thing for me is my foot drop. Like my left foot drop is terrible. After I walk for 2-3 minutes, that foot just starts to drag and land however it wants to. But with this sleeve, the shin is what controls that. So the shin will pull my foot up as I'm walking. So my foot is not dropping anymore. It's actually landing like it's supposed to.
Wow.
And
I'm blown away.
Incredible.
I'm blown away. I cannot wait to try that sleeve on. I just think it's such an awesome product. And I hoped that they have so much success with getting this thing approved by insurance and everything else. Because, I mean, this could be a life changer for a lot of people.
It already was for me. And I know, at least a dozen people that have gotten it because they saw what it did for me. I personally, my buddy Jones, he used to be my swim coach in high school, which is way back in the day. But then I worked at the high school with him. So we became friends then. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and he just randomly texts me. We talk every now and then, but he randomly texts me and says, "Hey, my brother or my cousin is in town from Cincinnati. He's 65. He's had MS since 2000. He's a veteran. He wants to ask you about your sleeves." I was telling him about your sleeves, and he wants to, pick your brain about it. And I said to him, I said, I can do one better. I said, bring him over to my house and I'll let him try them. And he did. He brought him over. We sat and talked for a while. I remember watching him walk in because I have 2 steps leading up to my house, which is a pain. But he was heavy on a cane. He was struggling to get up the steps and using that cane heavy. And I remember when he sat down on the couch, he did one of those where you sit and you just plop down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no slow, there's no steady. You just plop back.
Right.
So we talked for a while. I'm trying to figure out what his issues are, what, the problems, blah, blah, blah. So finally I'm like, all right, let's just do this. And I put the sleeve on him and he only needed one. He was worried about the electrical stimulation because he just hadn't used anything like that before.
Yeah.
And, I was used to it because of all the stuff I do with therapy, but I was like, it's not bad. I was like, well, we'll ease you into it. And you tell me when you feel it and I can watch your leg and I can see when it's starting to fire the muscles. So he got pretty comfortable and we got him dialed in and he wasn't hurting too bad. His wife was with him and he walked up and down my hallway probably 15 to 20 times. Not a very long hallway.
Yeah.
But he did it 15 to 20 times. He didn't use his cane. He never touched the wall.
Wow.
He was just walking and turning. His wife had tears in her eyes. His wife was crying.
Wow.
To watch him walk like that. He's had MS for so long. If he's walked this same way for so long, he still wasn't really bending his knee too much.
Yeah.
But he was still walking. And even while he was doing it those 15 times, he was starting to bend his knee more. And it's I was blown away by it. And so was his wife. And then he came and sat back down in the chair. And like I said, when he sat down in the chair before, he just flopped back into it. He
Yeah.
just sat down, just nice and smooth, and then stood up nice and smooth, and then sat down nice and smooth, and stood up. Like he was just doing sit to stands with this thing. And his wife was like, I have never seen him be able to do that
My God,
before,
that is just so amazing.
you know?
That is just so
Yeah.
amazing. If anybody wants to check out this sleeve, is there a website that they can go to check this thing out?
Yeah. They can go to psionic.com. It's CIONIC.com. So like bionic with a C.
Yeah.
And I've been in touch with the company a lot. Like I talk to Maddie a lot. She's a stroke survivor. She uses it to help her walk as well. She's their marketing girl, does all their social media stuff. Her and I talk all the time. Their founder, Jeremiah, I've been talking with him. Like he actually watches what I do on social media, and he shares my post out and he comments on stuff. And we've actually been talking to each other, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The greatest thing about this company that I think, it's new, it's small, it's a very small company. The reason these sleeves came about was because his daughter, I can't remember exactly what it is. I don't know if it's epilepsy, if it was muscular dystrophy, something. His daughter had something wrong with her and she couldn't walk very well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he made these sleeves.
Wow.
Those are the reason that these are in existence, to help his daughter. And then now they're helping me and so many others.
That is just such an awesome story, man. I would love to meet this guy. I mean, that just sounds like an amazing company, Adam. I mean,
I agree.
He's in it for the right reason. You know, I don't think he's in it to make like a shit ton of money, although it'd be nice that if he does with it. But he's in it to help people, you know, and I think that is just so important to have people out there that are trying to make our lives better. I think that's awesome.
And it's not just for MS, it's for Parkinson's, it's for strokes, it's for spinal cord injuries. Like there's so many applications that it can be used for.
Absolutely.
You know, veterans, you know, anything to just help you walk better. It's huge.
Absolutely, man. I think that's awesome. I will definitely put that link in the description if anybody wants to check that out. I think that is just such an awesome product. And I can't wait to hook up with you, Adam, just so I can try it on. I'm so intrigued by it.
I'm excited about that too.
I mean, if I can get you know, any kind of improvement, and I can use a wheelchair or a rollator a little bit less, or a cane a little bit less, holy shit, man, I'll do anything, man. As long as I can afford it. I mean, and I know that's the big part. You know, I mean, the insurance companies, they dictate on a lot of what we can get. You know, and that's part of the battle too. But I just love that product. I love it.
Yeah, it's like I said, for me, it's been a game changer. It's been incredible.
Yeah,
it's I can't say enough good things about it, and I love that I can be able to share it with other people and show them and let them try it for themselves, because that's how I did it. I tried it for myself and I saw what it did for me, and I was sold instantly.
Yeah, absolutely. So Adam, let's transition into what's going on with you this year and what you got going this summer, because I know we're going to hook up again this summer at your walk, and I know we're going to be going to the Frankenmuth thing in Michigan too, and we're going to be hanging out up there and with Jeremy and a bunch of his friends. Yep. So talk about a little bit about what's coming up for you this summer.
So, man, this year it's going to be a whirlwind. So I don't know all the details yet, but in February, I'm supposed to be doing an MS Society event with Allie McGuire, who runs Aware Now Media. We did a 5K because I can back in November, and had like 40 people out here walking, running, biking, doing whatever they could for 5K to help her documentary that she's making called Because I Can. She's a huge advocate with MS, and her and I become close friends. And apparently her and I are supposed to do something with MS Society in February. So I'm still waiting on details for that. So that's the first thing. In April 24th, I'll be in Fargo, North Dakota at an event called Little Black Dress and Tie for MS. and I'm going to be their keynote speaker. And from what I hear, this event it's a pretty big deal in the, Fargo, Minnesota area. It's usually like it's a dinner. It's, one of those $1,000 a table things, $100 a plate. They usually get like 300 people there. And they invited me to come be their keynote speaker.
Awesome.
Which I'm honored to do that.
That is awesome.
And I'm so excited to be out there. And I've been in contact with Maddie and Jeremiah at Psionic to see if they can be out there, because why not? Why not be there at this conference with MS people? And if you're not going to be out there, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to bring my extra sleeves so you can come try them anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm all about sharing it.
That's
and
awesome.
then, so I'm going to be doing that. And then the end of May on World MS Day, which is May 31st, I'm involved with the panel for it's Dance a Mile in My Shoes. And that's the Phoebe Walker's the one that's running that. And we got a panel of, other quote unquote badasses. That's what she said, like me, that have defied all these odds. So there's about 5 or 6 of us. We're going to be on a panel. It's going to be this virtual event on that day. I think we're going to be in Chicago. So if people are local, they can actually come out to it and see us in person. But it's more so a online event where people can watch and ask us questions and they can hear our stories and do all that stuff. So I'm really excited about that as well.
Mm.
And then, so that's in May. And then that'll be after, like you said, the Frankenmuth Walk, which I believe is the second Sunday in May, I think.
Yeah, I think so. May 9th. I think it's May 9th.
Yeah, that sounds right. So yeah, I plan on going up and meeting up with Jeremy and you, and I'm not going to walk that one because I still can't walk very well. And I always do my own walk in Milford. So mine's the week later. But I'm going to go up to Frankenmuth. I'm going to hang out and talk to people and you just be there for everybody else. And then the next week, I'm going to be doing my own walk in Milford and actually doing the mile walk. So then after that, my motorcycle run, I'm moving to June this year because I'm just too busy in April and May. And I can't physically do it. And maybe for the first time in 4 years, it won't rain on me during my run. So I'm hoping for it to have better weather.
I know.
So that's going to be in June at some point. And then in July, I'll be going to Sheboygan, Wisconsin for the Modified by MS conference again. So this year it's in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. So my summer is booked.
Yeah, it sounds like it, man.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I'm going to get to see you at 2 of those events. And it's just awesome the way that we even found each other, with we found each other through Kathy Chester, MS Disrupted. And it's just kind of like, it's just kind of growing, I mean, even the fact that you're a Michigan State fan, I forgave you on that. I'm like, hey,
you did forgive me for that.
I'm like, hey, you're still an okay guy. You're from the state of Michigan at least, but I can forgive you on the MSU part of it. But I just love talking to you, Adam. I mean, you're everything that what you need to be to fight this disease. You got to have an attitude and you got to have, just find something to motivate you. And you are the epitome of that. And I just love talking to you. Hey, you're a badass. And I think we're going to do a lot of good things together, just spreading awareness about what it's like living with this disease and just trying to get people to understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's one of my new goals is to get you hooked up with Jeremiah and bring them on, talk to Jeremiah about the sleeves, do a podcast with him.
Absolutely.
And really just spread this.
I would love it.
Yes, you can hear my story, but then you can hear why they came about from him and the science behind it, how it really works. Like I'm not very tech savvy, so I just know it fires my muscles in the sequence of my walk. You know what I mean?
Well,
he can tell you way more about it.
And the thing that I like about what we're doing is we're hearing it straight from people that are using the product. Like, I'm not going to believe if I see a commercial on TV and I see an actor walking around with a sleeve and I know the guy probably doesn't even have MS, I'm going to be like, okay, whatever. But I know you. Right. I know your journey. I know your story. I know everything about you. And I believe everything that you're telling me. I mean, if you're getting benefit, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's going to do the exact same thing for me that it's doing for you, but I believe
Because you don't know.
I
until you
don't
try.
know. I don't know until I try, but I love the fact that you are promoting something that works for you and you believe in it. And that's, I think that's an important part of this journey is to just bounce things off people and know to figure out what works for some people. Maybe it'll work for me. Maybe it'll make my life a little bit easier.
Yeah. I mean, just to be able to walk a little bit better it's so huge,
Yeah.
and one of the biggest things with it for me is I can walk better. Yes. I can walk without my stick sometimes. Yes. But I can walk longer and I'm not as physically fatigued or mentally fatigued while they're on because I don't have to concentrate on walking that much anymore.
Yeah.
Like now I have to concentrate on every single step. I have to worry about every muscle, where my ankle is going to fall, which way it's going to turn. That's what I have to think about every time I take a step. But now with these sleeves, I don't have to.
Yeah.
So that mental fatigue is way better and the physical fatigue is way better. My back doesn't hurt as much anymore when I walk because of those, because I'm walking more normally. It just changed everything.
I love it, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to try this thing on Adam. Hopefully in the near future. And
We have to get together for sure.
Yeah, and I'll definitely let everybody know what it did for me. After I try it on, I'll give you my 2 cents on it. And I would love to have the founders of this company and just to talk about it too with Sonic. And
Yeah.
because I just think it's an awesome product. Anything that is out there, that's getting put out there that can actually help us, I am 100% behind it because there's too much shit out there that is just trying to take money from people. And I think that's a big problem in our community. What's the good stuff and what's the bad stuff. So I'm all about hearing it from people that actually have this disease.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm trying to do. And, all the contacts I have in the physical therapy world in Michigan at University of Michigan. And,
So blue.
she knows that I have these extra sleeves and she's telling people, if you want to try them, tell me and I'll tell Adam and he'll come down and let you try them on.
Awesome.
Just spreading it that way, just getting it throughout that community.
Yep. Awesome. Yep. Adam, man, I can sit here and talk to you for a couple hours but I can have you on again, all the time too. And I'm going to do that. But, I just love talking to you. You're what you need. You're the attitude that you need, that you can't give up. And I appreciate you coming on and just updating me on what's been going on with you and telling me about Sonic. And, I can't wait to meet up with you, buddy.
Yeah, seriously, that's going to be exciting. Looking forward to May, going up to Frankenmuth.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and I'll talk to you anytime. I just, this is what I do now. This is just I talk about my story, and I hope that somebody listening to my story can hear it and be like, oh wow, like if he can do it, maybe I can do it. Like that, I consider that a win. It's like that's what I want. I want people to be like, hey, all right, let me go try to do this.
Yeah. Yep.
That's all it is.
Hey, one other thing I want you to plug too, Adam, is the newbie Facebook meeting that you do every month. And
yeah,
because I know that's getting ready to come up, and I think that's an awesome meeting that you have virtually with people. I've jumped into it and talked with people that are new in the diagnosis. So just talk a little bit about that platform you have out there for people too.
Yeah, so I run a monthly support group. I call it the newbie group. If you're diagnosed 3-ish years or less is what the goal is, to try to give newly diagnosed people just a safe space to come ask questions, to complain, to bitch, to cry, to do whatever they want to do. It's their space, and I wanted to keep it with, other newly diagnosed people. Sometimes I bring in some older people to talk, but what I don't want is I don't want these new people to be mixed in with some older people who are, have had it for 20 some years and are old curmudgeons and just stuck in their ways and think it's the worst. I don't want that. I don't want the newbie brain to be molded by that. I just want them to have a place that they can come, they can talk, they can ask their questions, they can do whatever they want to. So I've been doing this now for a year and a half, I think.
Yeah.
And we do it on the second Thursday of every month at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So the next one will be on January 8th at 8 o'clock on Zoom. And I can get you the Zoom number if you want, and you can share that out too. But yeah, and we usually have anywhere between, 8 and sometimes 14 people that come on there, and just we talk, we joke. Sometimes there's tears. You never know what's going to happen, but it's just a space that you can do that.
And that's
and just
important.
not feel.
And that's important to have, Adam, because when you're new in this diagnosis, you're scared. I know back when I was 27 years old, I was scared shitless. I didn't know what the hell my life was going to be like. And I had a lot of questions, but I didn't have anybody to ask them to, because there wasn't these platforms out there in 1997, So I think it's a great tool. It's an awesome tool.
I think so too. And that's kind of the reason that I actually got into this whole MS advocacy thing and sharing my story and being available for people to ask questions and all that stuff, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that resource.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you, when I got diagnosed, like I said, I didn't know what MS was. I didn't know anybody with MS. I didn't have anybody to talk to that had MS. So I just had to suffer that first year completely alone with my own thoughts, with my body deteriorating. So I don't want anybody else to go through that. And that's the main reason I started doing what I do.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to go through what I did. So I can be a resource to them. And this support group is just another extension of that.
Yeah, I love it, Adam. And that's why we get along so well, even though you're a Michigan State guy. I just, we think along the same lines. It doesn't matter. We don't want people to experience what we experienced, and we just want to. It's not the end of their life. After that diagnosis, but you got MS, it's not game over. You got to keep on fighting. You got to figure out a way to keep on fighting, and that's what you're about. And I love everything that you're about. And you will always have a spot anytime you want to record with me. I really appreciate you, Adam, a lot.
I appreciate that. I always enjoy talking with you too, Brian. And thanks for what you're doing. I think it's awesome that you're hooked up with Hail Media as well. So congratulations on that.
I appreciate it.
And hopefully we can get you spread out more and more and hear more stories.
I hope so. All right. If you want to connect with Adam, I will put all of his information in the description. He goes by MS with the wrong MFer on TikTok. Okay. And I'll put all that in the description if you want to hook up with Adam. Thanks a lot, Adam, for joining me today. If you want to follow me on TikTok, you can find me MS Michigan Man 64. You can also find me on Instagram, MS Michigan Man 64, and I'm on Facebook, Brian Wallace out of Brunswick, Ohio. Please share us out and hit the subscribe button. We want to be understood. The best way to be understood is to listen to us talk. Until the next episode, this is the MS Michigan Man 64. I am out.